Hello and welcome to this Reckon APS Practice Management Fee Navigation course. In this course, we'll establish the various methods in which to start a fee. We'll explore the fee activity and the fee application navigation and how to set up your individual fee options and preferences. We won't be covering how to complete the fee, simply just how to start it. Basically, there are three methods in which you can create a fee. The first two involve Central Console and using the fee activity page, and the third option is using the fee application directly to create a new fee. So let's have a look at the fee activity options. Open Central Console. Select the client or debtor that you wish to raise a fee for and go down to the fee activity page. Fee activity page, you'll see raise a fee. Within this client band of the Central Console, the raise a fee will extract all the entries related to this particular debtor. If the client is not a debtor, then there'll be nothing presented on this page. It will redirect you to who the debtor is. A fee can only be raised for one entity. If you have multiple entities, you may wish to review your options. Within the fee activity page, the options can be set to a default working entity, and you can also set behaviours of how fees are raised to redirect to the fees console and to whether include zero WIP activity. You might want to review that. The general options, you can automatically write off balances when you go into the fee process of creating the fee. And we also have the concept of a batch manager. Every time we raise a fee, it creates a single fee in a batch through this process. Sometimes it's known as a quick fee. And the behaviour of narrations. If you've changed any options here, you will apply those and OK. The idea of the WIP summary screen that we see in the fee detail is to review items that are relevant for you. Under your action menu, you can also change the columns you wish to see. If you decide to change the columns and you wish to save those so that every time you come in, you can set this and save it as your default layout. If I now want to have a look at the WIP detail reports, I am available to do that from the Central Console through the reporting option. So fee activity, Central Console client band, raise a fee, will raise it for the whole debtor. If I go to the matter console and I select a client, I need to select a particular matter. If I look at fee activity, it will raise a fee just for that single matter. You'll notice that the columns have changed as per my set layout that I saved in the client band. So that's method 1 and 2 of how to create your initial fee. When you click raise a fee, you'll have the following options available to you. Include all WIP history is deselected by default, which means we're only extracting entries to drill down to that are net outstanding WIP transactions. This is all you need to be able to bill. However, if you would like to see the history in your fee extract, you can select this option. Remember that might be a lot of transactions if it's a large client. The second option is available to include matters with zero WIP. That would be useful when you're doing interim fees, and we'll discuss that in a separate course. Invoice date to be data posting, we recommend that that is checked. This is because we know that people can start a fee on day 1, but there might be an internal review process or an approval process that might take 1 or 2 days before that gets posted. By checking this box, it means the date of the invoice will be the latter date of posting rather than the earlier date of the creation of the fee. Current filter excludes WIP after. If I'm creating an invoice date the 28th of February, I would only want to include transactions up until and including that date. Always ask when creating the fee is recommended to leave on. Once you've done that process, it will now open into the fee batch console. The fee batch console has this particular fee waiting for you to go and produce in the invoice work list. If you're not ready to go and allocate your WIP and your narrations at this point in time, you could close the fee screen and it will open up your batch summary. If you don't want this screen open, that is where you go into your fee activity and options page to say I'm not interested in that batch manager. You would do that if you're only ever working with single fees. We don't want that second prompt. You'll notice now that when I go back into fee activity, if the fee is actually in progress, instead of having raise a fee here, it'll now be fee entry. That allows me to go straight back in and redirect to the fee console. Within the fee console itself, our third option to create a fee is using the plus or the add button. Depending on your security rights, you can see I have access to go and create a new debtor or go and create multiple debtors. I'll use the first option. I select my second debtor that I want to create the fee for. I determine the practice. I can choose in this option which matters to include in my fee. I didn't get that option when I went from Central Console. I either got the whole client and all the debtors related to that and the matters, or just one matter. In this option, I get to choose. I then look at my options page, which were the same as what I saw in the fee activity, and select next. I now have 2 invoices waiting for me to create in my invoice work list. The fee navigation screen's down the left-hand side. We have the work list, which is this screen, which is also explained further in working with multiple fees. The WIP for the relevant client that I have selected. The WIP screen is where I allocate my fee amounts and write-off amounts. The fee entry screen is where I enter my narration that I want to see on the invoice. My fee details is where I can edit the date of the invoice and any references or invoice narration that appears on debtors. The addresses, I can see the default address will always be the postal address for the client. And if I'm using approvals, I would have a fee route. The custom layout screen is usually the WIP screen and your fee entry screen. So what's our learning outcomes in our fee navigation? We've learned that Central Console has a fee activity page in both the client band and the matter band, and that the user options for the fee application are stored in here. Central Console allows the fee preparer to review the WIP in the WIP summary page in the fee activity before embarking on the fee process. We learnt that the fee application, which is also known as the fee batch console, is where all fees end up in the work list. You can easily add more fees directly from within this console and do bulk actions when needed. On behalf of the Reckon Training Academy, thank you for your time and we'll see you at the next course.